Welcome back, listeners, to another episode of the Peculiarstars Lifestyle Network. I remain your host, Emmanuel, and today we are going to dive into a topic that's both powerful and often misunderstood: apologizing properly and effectively. Apologies are a fundamental aspect of human interaction. We all make mistakes, and how we handle those mistakes can significantly impact our relationships and personal growth. I'm just curious, has someone apologized to you and it makes you angry and you felt like slapping them, or you really wish they had just not bothered to apologize at all? Share with us in the comments. You see, for a relationship to work, there's got to be kind, honest, and constant conversation, the ability to admit mistakes and apologize genuinely to each other, willingness to walk through problems, as well as giving each other emotional support. And talking about relationship, it's not just based on romantic relationships alone, but relationships generally. Can be friendship, relationship you have with your family, and so on. Have you observed that sometimes you offend someone and deep down you want to apologize, but there is something holding you back? Personally, I feel like it's a sign of low self-esteem. The fear of losing your words makes it difficult to say I'm sorry. How do you deal with the fear of low self-esteem preventing you from apologizing when you know you should? Share with us in the comments. I'm going to be talking about some statements that can render your apology null and void, especially when apologizing for an error in communication or judgment. So the first one is, I'm sorry, but. The first thing that comes to mind is, but what? This begs the question, are you trying to apologize or just making petty excuses? When you say a statement like this, it's like you are finding an excuse for what you did wrong, and it can make your apology not acceptable. Another one is saying, I am sorry that you. If you say this, you are trying to shift blame from yourself to the other party. If you are apologizing, make sure you acknowledge your responsibility, and try to fix the error you made. Another one is, I will apologize if. This is putting the person on a condition to fulfill a particular demand of yours before you can apologize. So when you say a statement like this, I will apologize if, you are trying to say, if you do this thing, if you also apologized, if you are giving the person, or rather you are putting the person in a condition to fulfill something before you can apologize, and it's just like you are just unapologetic indirectly or directly. The next one is, fine, I'm sorry, okay. In this case, this is not an apology. This is not an acknowledgement of wrongdoing. And even saying shut up and get out to whomever you're apologizing to in this manner is less of an insult compared to this statement. So it's not something you should say when you're apologizing. And the last one is, X told me to apologize, so here goes nothing. Who is X? Why is X involved in this apology? It shows that the apology is far from sincere and you're only doing it to appease X, not because you are genuinely sorry. So I want you to share with us in the comments some examples of a time when someone apologized to you and it's not sincere, and what impact did it have to your relationship with them. To apologize properly and effectively, there are some things that needs to be put into consideration, and the first thing that I'm going to be talking about is timing. You see, timing is crucial. Don't procrastinate when it comes to apologizing. The longer you wait, the more challenging it can be to mend the situation. Promptly address the issue to prevent it from festering and causing further damage. Stop saying, okay, I will apologize tomorrow, I will apologize later. Do it immediately so that you won't cause further damage. And the next one is acknowledgement. You see, apologies are not about making excuses or deflecting blame. You need to first acknowledge that you did something wrong, but it doesn't end there. You have to also state what you did wrong, one after the other. For example, you can say, I said really mean words to you that should never have crossed my mind, not to mention leaving my lips. You can say, I was inconsiderate of your feelings and that was really selfish of me. Nothing like I'm sorry about what happened, I'm sorry you got angry. What happened? And why are you being passive aggressive? So subtle suggesting that they choose to be angry when you upset them. The next one is validate. We often think that if we had honest intentions, then it doesn't matter if our actions hurt them. That's when we begin to say things like, if that upsets you, I'm sorry. I feel like you are just misunderstanding and blowing things out of proportion. No, you actually need to validate their feelings rather than trying to gaslight them. It doesn't matter what your intentions were, as long as you ended up hurting them. Validate the way they feel. You can say you have every right to be upset. I can only imagine how you feel right now. So just say something to validate what they feel at that moment. The next one is accountability. You see, it's important that you are accountable for your actions, and there are a lot of things you can say that will show that yes, you are really accountable. You can say something like, I really hurt you by not keeping to my promises. I should have handled things way better than I did, but I didn't. I made you upset by doing the very thing I knew would shake you. I was wrong. When you say statements like this, it shows that you are really accountable. Another one is remorse. You see, you don't just apologize to someone and try to bring up another story or another topic to cover up what's on ground. You see, you have to be genuine. You have to be sincere about your apology. It's time to bring up those golden words. I'm truly sorry I made you feel this way. Please know that I honestly didn't set out to hurt you deliberately, but it happened, and I'm sorry. You can take all the time you need to process this, no pressure. Restitution. You see, you need to make it up to them if you can. It could be any of their love languages or all. Begin to speak them fluently and ensure that your sincerity shines through. Don't do it for the sake of trying to buy their forgiveness, but because you genuinely want to make things right. Listening is crucial. After apologizing, allow the person to express their feelings, perspectives. It's not just about you, it's about understanding how your actions affected them. This is active listening, and it can go a long way in rebuilding trust. And the last one is change. At the end of the day, the greatest form of apology is changed behavior. I will admit that it's not easy for humans to shed old skin, but at least continue to put in effort that they can see until you eventually get it right. Keep your promises. If you have committed to making amends or changing your behavior, follow through with it. You see, empty promises can erode trust even further. So be consistent in your efforts to make things right. Don't just bank on their continued forgiveness as an excuse to keep acting out. All in all, apologies will always feature in our day-to-day lives, as we are humans and we are bound to make mistakes. So as such, we must often be willing to admit that we won't always get it right, and be ready to take necessary steps towards righting our wrongs, doing better and getting better. Finally, I want you to share with us in the comments what are some common misconceptions or mistakes people make when apologizing, according to your own observations and experiences. And that's going to be all on this episode. Let's remember, it's not about being perfect, it's about being human and learning from our errors. Thanks for listening, and don't forget to hit the like button, comment, share, and subscribe to this channel. Until next time, take care.